Hey guys! Thank you for listening to us!
Yeah, thanks for being here. We love a dialogue.
Woo woo! I'm Jake.
I'm Raquel. And we've transitioned.
Sorry, I'm in a goofy mood today, so I wanted to see what your reaction would be.
It's so funny because I thought about doing that to you last week, so I'm glad you opened up with it.
Well, there's no way you thought about doing it last week because while I was editing the audio, I realized we didn't do it opening last week.
Yeah, because I noticed that too, and I was like, we didn't do it, but I didn't want to mess up your flow.
And so, by the way, guys, in case you don't know, this is
Don't You Know?
So let's see. Let's go ahead and get into some stuff with the podcast. We might have a little special something going on for next episode.
Yep.
That's going to also be on the YouTube, so make sure you come back and listen to that episode
Definitely
so you can know what's going on.
It could even be up right now as you hear this noise.
Let's see here. We have new listeners in Norway, and we have new listeners in North Carolina. I don't think I've mentioned North Carolina yet.
Well, welcome aboard.
Yeah. And California is in the lead for most downloads. In your face, Jacob.
You said which one? North Carolina?
What? North Carolina's not in the lead. California is.
California's in the lead. Oh, yeah. Well, we have one more in Georgia, I know for a fact. And I have to say that I think California is like 4 times the population of Georgia. So if your number isn't 4 times as big, I'm not impressed. Next topic.
Moving on.
Moving right on. Thank you all for listening.
We value every single one of our listeners, except for my dad, because I know he's listening and he's judging us.
And he's not valued,
I'm
apparently.
kidding.
I value him.
I'm kidding, Dad. But we do have a bit of a problem, Jacob.
What's our problem? Are these problems that I can solve?
These are problems that we probably both should try to solve. We are
Okay.
no longer allowed to talk about movies that are like older movies. We have to talk about like current movies only.
Why?
Because my dad said you did no justice to Pulp Fiction about explaining what it was about.
Pulp Fiction is a movie that needs no introduction. Just go into it blind. You'll appreciate it. It's like Memento. Don't ever hear about what Memento is about. It's a masterpiece movie. Just go into it blind. Do it tonight. It's so good. Memento. It's a masterpiece. That's all you need to know.
Oh my god. In case you didn't get that, it's Memento. Yeah, and so this is like the second or third time we have had people come to us saying that we were completely wrong about not so much our opinions of the movies, but so much more as you were wrong about the movie, as in what happened in the movie.
What are you talking about? I was spot on. I seen that movie like
He just
50
said you
times.
did a bad job of describing it.
Maybe I just set it up how it needs to be set up. Maybe he did a bad job of watching it.
You should have waited till I told you what my dad said about what you described the Pulp Fiction before saying that you like my dad.
Well, I still like your dad, even if he's wrong.
So, okay. I would also, speaking of my dad, I would like to mention that 1, it's my mom's birthday today, and 2, it's my dad's birthday in 2 days.
Happy birthday and happy birthday in 2 days.
Yeah. In 2 days. This will actually come out after their birthdays. I should have said happy birthday to them on the last episode. I'm sorry. I get kind of confused sometimes about when we record and then when I finish editing it and it gets released. Sometimes I miss things in between because you have to basically think like 2 weeks ahead.
Excuses.
Don't start with me, Jacob. If I remember correctly, we said happy birthday to your brother like 3 times.
It was a really happy birthday. It's a big one. Happy birthday, Jude. It's back in April.
Oh, okay. So what's been going on with you, Jacob?
Nothing too much. Got my Santa Claus shirt on. Living large, in charge. Really busy at work. So busy at work. But no, it's been good.
He says he might work on our project today.
I'm gonna work on our project today.
Ooh.
And
Yay!
yeah, I've got my dates have continued on.
Oh.
We're having good fun in that area of my life. And yeah, might go get a spider this week coming up
Ugh.
at Repticon.
Jacob goes from having good dates to having horrible dates because they see the spider and go the other way.
She has a spider. She's getting one too.
Then I've already disapproved of this girl, Jacob. Move on to the next one.
Anyway, that's looking forward to that coming up. Other stuff, been doing some VR. Got back into sword fighting. I was flying a spaceship the other day. I was showing off and I crashed. I blew up. I didn't crash. I got shot to death. And I almost got out of there too, but it was 3v1. Yeah, I might have engaged that fight, but cost me 2.2 million credits. Terrible. Anyway, that's it. Just a bunch of nerd junk.
I saw this one thing. Facebook. Facebook suckers me in all the time. It gave me this ad for this VR experience thing, and it's like on the north side of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at it, and they have one that's called like Dead Mansion or something like that. And it's zombies. So it's a VR set with a vest that has the little vibrators on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they call it haptic.
Yeah, haptic.
Vibrations.
Haptic is like
that.
anything that you feel, like haptic feedback.
Yeah, and I think they give you, like, your weapon is like a gun or whatever. So it's like going through the zombie mansion with the little haptic vibration. I want to do that. It's like $25 per person.
That's pretty fun.
So I'm going to see if maybe when my half-brother comes down to visit, maybe Dad will take all of us to go do that. Because that sounds like it would be fun.
Zombies are very easy to shoot until they get close. And then you start to panic. And their head's moving around, and it's real close. It's harder than you think. I've played Arizona Sunshine.
And it's a VR set.
Yeah, well, I've played Arizona Sunshine, which is VR, but not with a haptic or anything. And I have to say, being in the dark, there's one part in that game where you go through a tunnel, and you get a flashlight, and that's where you're. It goes from a happy, silly game to I'm not sure how I feel about this really fast. So how did Facebook sucker you into it? Did you go do this? Are you gonna go do this?
I think I want to definitely go do it. Facebook does that all the time. You know, Facebook actually showed me something that was like a haptic vest as well that you could use for video game and stuff like that. And it actually looks really cool. It's a Kickstart. And it's like $200, $300. I'm not going to get it, obviously, because one, I don't even have a VR set, so there'd be no point. Then they have like a strap.
They're probably real cheap right now on like the used market, because the next generation just came out and everyone's getting those. You probably find a used one for pretty cheap. I saw one that was like, I meant to send it to you. I saw one on the GameStop Pro Day little flyer. They had one on there, and it was like normally like $700, $800, and they had it like half off for like $400. Wow. Good deal.
Yeah, it was a really good deal, but it was still a lot of money. Yeah,
that is a lot especially for a peripheral that you need a computer to run on. It's crazy. But I tell you what, it's some of the best gaming.
It included, it looked like it included, noise canceling headphones and all this other stuff. I think it was the new generation for,
probably if the price tag's normally $800.
H5 or something like that.
The old gen was priced around around $400. I think the Vive was $500.
Yeah, I think it was the Vive.
Yeah. The new one is the Vive Pro, which is around $1,000. There's also the Valve Index, which is the one I've got my eye on.
It was probably that one, the Vive Pro.
But Oculus has some good stuff out too. I'm not as familiar with Oculus just because I just have a Vive. But Oculus
maybe you'll have to come out for next year for the VR convention.
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat.
Actually, next year we're going to go to Japan, so.
I feel like of all places, VR convention should have... I should be able to be in Georgia and put on my headset and be able to walk around the VR convention with other people. I feel that should be a thing. If that's not a thing, they're missing out. I'm telling you.
Eventually, Jacob, eventually.
No, really, they could do that right now. They could just have, live cameras everywhere that, model the 3D space. And so it wouldn't be the highest resolution, but you'd be able to see avatars walking around, just like VR chat. You could do it in VR chat and just have everybody visit the VR convention and see all the booths, or at least a virtual... Maybe not real time, but have a virtual space you could go to during the event. And then you get a bunch of people that probably crash the server, to be honest, but
yeah.
They have different servers.
Send a letter.
Yeah, right? Vote me for president, and it'll happen. Don't vote me for president. Jeez, I don't want all that.
Okay. So, for me, I got the new iPhone 11.
Did you? What? Very nice. How is it?
I love it.
Cool. It's out of, solid gold or something silly like that. What color did you get?
So, I got black. I wanted to get the green one, but it wasn't going to come in until, next month. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm going to put a case over it anyways. What does it matter what color the black is? The front's all black on all of them anyways.
Is this the one that has 3 dots? The 3 cameras or something?
I didn't get the Pro.
Okay.
I got just the regular 11, and 11 just has only the 2. Only the 2, okay. Like, that's not a lot as it is. Because my last one only had the 1. My favorite thing is, see, I thought it was going to be the 2 cameras. I thought that was going to be my favorite thing. But actually, my favorite thing about this is they redid the CarPlay. So when you plug your phone up and you have the screen on your car.
Yeah, good feature.
You saw it, right? When you came to see my car.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
But you saw what the iPhone looked like on it, though, right? When you came out and visited me,
no, I don't remember that at all.
Okay. So when you plug it up, it only has the 3 most recent apps. And so you can only have, like, really the one app
so it's yours,
on the
like
screen.
Tinder and Bumble and Reddit or something?
Not all apps are allowed on the screen.
Oh, that's good.
Mainly only the Apple ones. So Maps, iTunes, Spotify.
Apple Maps, for when you want to get there 10 minutes late.
They just added Google Maps. They, I guess, accepted, okay, fine. And they like Google Maps to be up there. I still only use Apple Map. Because it's just kind of, most stuff just opens up in the Apple Maps anyways because it's an Apple phone. So when you're looking up an address, it goes into Apple Maps anyways.
I feel like Apple Maps is like, look, we're doing you a service. You weren't going to be fashionably late because you never arrive on time to a party.
So now with this new one, it has the option to do a different screen. So instead of only having the one app open, you can have a different screen. So what the different screen is that you take the whole screen and you cut it in half.
Mm-hmm.
And that one of the halves on the left is the maps.
Mm-hmm. And the other one's your Spotify or whatever.
No, the second screen is split into 2. The second half is split into 2. And the bottom part is the Spotify so you can see the name of the song. And the top part is the directions.
That's pretty cool.
I always hated it when you were following the map because you couldn't really see what song was playing or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which wasn't, I guess, too big of a deal.
Yeah, but you gotta tab over and that's another press and you're trying to drive a 2-ton vehicle down the road.
Yeah. I mean, you still don't have very many access to do anything. I mean, you could just see the song and you could skip if you wanted or whatever. But it would still, you know, sometimes you want to see the song. I don't know. I guess it's just like a kind of a habit or whatever.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing was that with the navigation, the Apple's map, you wouldn't, it would be like, okay, you're going to drive on this street for like 10 miles or whatever. But you don't know if you're going to be turning left or right until you're basically right there and it finally shows you on the map where you're supposed to be turning.
Yeah.
And then you can see if you're turning left or right.
Sometimes it'll show you what lane you're supposed to be in, though. Like, I think Google does that.
Sometimes, but by the time it shows you that, sometimes, like, if there's a lot of traffic, it's too late to be in that lane. Yeah,
especially in, like, LA, for sure. There's, like, 20 lanes.
And then you could always look at the phone. The phone actually has, like, you'll be turning right here, and then the next direction will be turning left, or, like, have all that stuff on the phone, but not on the screen. That defeats the whole purpose of looking at the screen. But now, with the new CarPlay, it's got the map, but then up on that top corner, I was talking about how, like, the second half is split between the music, but the top part is the directions, so it will tell you. So you don't have to look at your phone anymore.
Nice. That's good. Good job, Apple Play. You saved a lot of lives.
So, let's see. I think that's basically all I've done this week. And I did that. I got my Appa Pop from Box Lunch. You know, Appa from Avatar.
Very cool.
Let's see. Did that. I did a couple of things. Just some running, editing of the podcast. I kind of had somewhat of a lazy day on Sunday. And
me too.
I saw this one series, and it's absolutely awesome, and you should check it out. After you check out that Hyperdrive one I showed you, because
my dad texted me about that. He's like, "Hey, Hyperdrive, Netflix, watch it." I was like, "Whoa, okay."
That's the one I was telling you about. Drag racing, I think, or something like that.
If Hot Wheels was a real sport, it would be this.
So, but there's this other episode, other TV series I watched, which is called, I believe it's called The Mind, Explained.
I've heard of that.
It's so awesome. There's only like 4 episodes. I wish there was more. No, 5. I wish there was more, but it was so good. Except for like the last one. I didn't really care too much for the last one. I think it was the last one. One of the episodes was about LSD. I was just kind of like, well, this isn't quite like the other episodes, because the other episodes are about meditation and anxiety, and so it's like kind of stuff that actually does with the mind, and the LSD is like something that you take that affects the mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just wasn't quite the
funny.
same thing.
Like, you could meditate, or, you could just do drugs. It's all about what you want to be. We here at Don't You Know do not condone the use of illegal drugs or really any drug. And
So, what it kind of gave off the conspiracy kind of vibe, that episode.
Yeah.
So.
Weird.
Okay, and then what I saw this weekend, which was awesome, and okay, so this movie is called Brittany Runs a Marathon. It is so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's very funny, and it's inspirational. Like,
Cool.
I've gotten back to watching what I'm eating, because I got to a period where I think I got sick, and at that point I was like, I'm gonna eat whatever I want, because, like, if
Feel
I'm,
good
like,
food.
watching what I'm eating, and, like, paying attention to how much I'm eating, blah, 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 and I just feel like crap, and I just want to eat whatever my body's telling me I need.
Sometimes you gotta take a break like that,
So, and then I kind of stopped exercising. So now I'm back to watching what I eat. I mean, I'm not as strict as I was before, because now I'm just kind of like, I need to just change it enough to be kind of like healthier, but not to the same extreme as I was before, because it was just too much. And then as soon as you miss like a day or two, that's it. Boom.
Yeah.
It's done. Whereas if you are just watching like, I had a burger and fries for lunch, but I had like a English muffin for breakfast and an apple.
Yeah.
And then
That's
for
a good
dinner, I
breakfast.
think I'm just going to have a shake. Or maybe I'll have some like meat and cheese or something like that. Just no bread.
I'm literally just eating cheese right now.
So kind of watching what I'm eating, but yet at the same time not denying myself like all junk food. And so I've also gotten back into running. I'm going to run after we finish here.
Nice.
And I'm going to this Friday, because I had to pay for my car this last paycheck, so I don't have any money right now. But next Friday, I'm going to register for another 5K.
Whoop, whoop. Great work.
Yeah! This one's going to be, it says at night, but I think it starts at like 5:30, so it's not really night.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to be like, you wear glow sticks and the path is going to be lit up by glow sticks.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it should be fun.
That's kind of that incentivizes you to take a longer time running because you want it to get darker so you can see the glow sticks and it'd be really cool. But if you're
And
like
it's right along the beach.
if you're like a pro and you're just running in like 5 minutes, I don't know how long 5Ks take. That probably sounds very fast.
They usually finish, I think, like 12 minutes.
Yeah, 5 is like absurdly fast. Oh,
I don't know what you're doing. Yeah, because that's 3 miles. I don't know how you're going to do
hey, I'm quick.
a mile in like a minute and a half.
That's my warm up. I do a 5K for breakfast. No, I do not do a 5K for breakfast. What I'm getting at is that if you really want to see it all, you're going to want to run slower. But you want to run fast so you can get a good time. You just got to run it and then get done and then be like, okay, now I'm going to go back and start over. And so I can see the glow sticks in the dark.
This movie actually made a really good point. Even though it's a marathon, not a 5K, they were talking about it. And she was convincing one of her other friends that she made to do a marathon with her. And he was all like, he was like, what are you talking about? I would never be able to run a marathon. Like, we would be the slowest people there. And they were like, no, the marathon isn't about your speed. The marathon is about just finishing. Like, I guess like for some people it is, yeah, about the speed. But most people do it just to finish a marathon. The same with a 5K. Just do it to finish it. Like, I did it for 4th of July, which I talked about it
I remember
on
that.
that episode. And I did it just to finish it. I definitely was not the fastest.
It's something that a lot of people have on as like a bucket list, And it's that makes a lot of sense that it's an accomplishment to have done that. You don't have to come first for you to have done an accomplishment. Nobody that climbs Everest, only one person gets to discover it. But if you climb Everest, nobody's going to be like, oh yeah, you weren't the first though. Not impressed.
You took 2 weeks.
Yeah. Just don't be friends with that guy. Don't you know? Just don't be friends with that guy. Because he's never going to climb Everest. So screw him. No, that's cool. Yeah, I think that's fantastic that you're doing another one.
There is something I want to say about that, but like, it's a spoiler for the movie though, so I'm not going to say anything.
Oh.
Maybe I should. Okay, spoiler alert.
Womp, 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 womp. Just skip ahead like 60 seconds.
Yeah, you can just skip like maybe, not even 60 seconds, probably like 30 seconds. So she actually ends up having a friend that is like her skinny Asian friend who does not support her at all. Like, because she, like, changes up her eating habits and wants to run a marathon. And she, when her friend finally stands up for her, because her friend keeps like, oh, let's go out to drink, let's go. And she's like, I'm trying to, like, I've lost all this weight and blah, 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 blah. And the girl's like, oh, whatever, and like, blah, blah, blah. And she just, it's not supportive at all. And so finally she stands up and was like, you know what? You're just upset because I'm no longer willing to be your fat friend, sidekick, or whatever. And she's like, and so she leaves, and the girl, of course, has to say the last thing, and it's like, too bad it won't last. And she's like, what? It's like, I've known girls like you before, and you know, always gonna be fat and ugly.
Harsh.
Don't need people like that.
Don't need that negativity in your life.
Okay, spoiler over. Psh. Okay.
Spoiler over.
Okay.
Just skip ahead to the next episode, and you won't get any spoilers.
Don't say that. Let's do...
How about...
our topic.
Yeah.
Or do you want to go do something else?
I think we should get into the topic.
Okay, then. So, Jacob said his life was boring and he hasn't seen any good movies. Let's go on to the topic.
Yeah, my movies were, our topic. That's what it's called.
Okay, so our topic, in case you didn't read the title, is at work.
We're working now. This is our side work.
We're working now. Yeah! So let's start with, I guess a discussion? Let's do...
You know, there's a lot of people listening that are probably working now. Well,
Yeah.
probably should be working, but they're probably just listening to this, chuckling.
And that's okay.
They've got their chin in their hands, and they're tapping their left hands across the desk going... And I'm looking at you.
Is that how you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do... I'm debating between these two discussion topics. Let's do, I guess, first job. What was your first job, Jacob?
My first job.
This one?
My first job was mowing lawns in the neighborhood, but that wasn't really a real job. That was just going around using the lawnmower, using Dad's gas to go and get $30 from the neighbor. But I got my first car that way. But it wasn't like a routine job. I don't count that. My first real job was...
with a W-2.
Yeah, good one. My first job with a W-2, I think, was probably Steak and Shake. I'm going to call that my first real adult job. I had some stuff where, like, I worked at my dad's place before, and I had, like, a summer job. I guess that kind of counted, too. Because I had a summer job working at a...
Did you have a W-2?
A zip line. I don't remember. I think I did. Pretty sure I did. That place was official. But I don't remember which
then you
came
had a zip line job.
I'll just say food service. Steak and Shake. I think that's my first real one.
I remember the zip line one. That was the one that was in Carrollton. Or no, maybe not.
No, that was in Ocala.
We went to the one in Carrollton for a school trip. You didn't go to that one. Why didn't you go ziplining with the rest of us?
I don't know. Was that your freshman year, maybe?
No. I don't think so.
Well, anyway.
I think that was like... because I knew Lindsay. Me and Lindsay are the one that went. Kristen was working, so it had to either be sophomore, junior, or senior year. Definitely wasn't freshman year.
Maybe I wasn't invited.
I don't think Sasha was there. So it had to probably be senior year.
Don't know.
Anyways. Okay. My first job was... working at Georgia Renaissance Festival.
Oh, yeah.
It was a summer job, but I had it 2 consecutive summers. So
nice.
That was interesting. So I guess mine was food service as well, because I worked at the food section of the Georgia Renaissance Festival.
Yeah, I feel there are like a bunch of... obviously, there are a bunch of different jobs, but like you can kind of categorize them, a lot of them, into service industry, like food service, I guess, is a subcategory, but like, I guess retail, sales, that sort of stuff, I think is very much its own flavor of work. Very much different than office work, which is another one that I'm familiar with, and
that's
I think
what I have now.
Both of those are very different than like manual labor of whatever varying degree. Some of these can be a lot further than others, but I've had one job that was like, we worked in a parking lot. We were changing brakes on like a fleet of trailers with generators on them. And we had to do from drum brakes to electric brakes, hydraulic to electric. And we had to do a bunch of the batteries and wiring and stuff on those and change all the tires on like 160 trailers in the hot sun in the summer in Florida. It was like 130 degrees in that parking lot. That was a brutal job. But
I understand.
And I think that's
no, like seriously, like because Georgia Renaissance Festival, we were working like because it was the Georgia Renaissance Festival, you know, Renaissance period. We didn't have AC.
Yeah,
it's in the middle of summer.
Yeah, it is.
And we're working with fryers and grills and stuff like that.
It's really hot in there for sure.
Oh yeah, people used to go over to the little, like, dessert section because there was ice cream and stuff like that. So it was a little bit cooler because they didn't have any, like, fryers, really. Well, they had one fryer, but they were mainly, like, ice cream and coolers and stuff in that little section. So it was, like, a little bit cooler in that side of the building.
Oh, I remember working at Steak and Shake and worked at La Brea later. We would, I don't know who's we, but I would definitely just go and stand in, like, the freezer to cool down. If I was, like, overheating or whatever, for whatever reason, or I just wanted to cool down, I'd walk into the freezer. What are you doing in there? Just counting the ice cubes, making sure we got enough. There weren't even ice cubes in there. Yeah, you gotta stay cool. Don't you know, stay cool while you're working. Stay healthy. You gotta stay healthy and hydrated and everything. You shouldn't be dying on the job. If you're dying on your job, maybe you want to get a new job, you know? Well, respect our troops and, you know, back the blue.
Yeah.
I guess there's a time. But if you're, like, overheating from heat exhaustion, working in a kitchen, take a break. Go take care of yourself. Get some water in you.
Yeah, your first priority should be yourself, because honestly, if you were to quit that job that day or whatever,
they'd rehire in
the company would be like, okay, they
might take a hit, but somebody could fill your role. Don't you know, you're always expendable, too. No matter who you are, where you work, you're probably expendable. So don't forget that. Work hard. Don't slack.
Yeah. Don't slack, but also don't damage your health either.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fine line.
I have a good discussion one.
Okay.
So this was the one I was debating between when I was trying to decide if I wanted to do first job or this one. So, what do you prefer? First shift, second shift, or night shift?
I'm gonna say second shift, because I'm not really a morning person. I can't
Or weekend shift. I think that's third shift.
Third shift is usually the overnight shift. Like if I'm working at Steak and Shake, first shift is gonna be the morning, you're serving breakfast, you come in at 8. Second shift is gonna be like lunch and dinner, and then your third shift is going to be working overnight.
Night shift.
But that depends, because that's a 24-hour restaurant, so it is a little different, and most places aren't 24/7. So first shift would be breakfast, then we'd have break, would be the little lull after lunch in between dinner. So like it would be like 2 to 6, and then everyone starts coming in for third shift, and that's the dinner shift. So for restaurant industry, I'd rather say third shift. You get your day.
Let's say, for the sake of this,
okay,
because a lot of jobs aren't like that.
Yeah.
And third shift means Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I guess.
Usually.
I've literally never heard that.
That's how they did it at my, like, brother's old work or something like that. They work, I think they worked, like, 10 hours for Monday through Thursday, and then night shift, and then third shift came in, or something like, what was it? I can't remember what it was, but...
What did he do? What was the job? Like, stuck?
It was like some type of, like, government office work or something like that.
Huh.
So they had to, so they had, like, a first shift was morning one, second shift was, like, the late evening one, and then third shift was the ones that came in and worked on Friday and Saturday and Sunday.
Uh-huh.
So when my brother did, no, it was only Saturday and Sunday. They only worked Saturday and Sunday.
So you're asking me if I like working weekends. The answer's no. I don't like working weekends. However, it's nice to be off on a weekday, because if you need to go to the doctor, or if you need to go shopping for something, or if you need something that's open on regular business hours, it's very nice to have a weekday off.
That could be another question. So let's do this one first, though.
Okay.
So we're going to say first shift is going to be the morning. We're going to say second shift is the evening. Third shift is the weekend. And then night shift is, of course, the nighttime. So out of those, which would you prefer?
I like second shift. What do you like?
I prefer night shift.
Night shift.
I have found that when I've had like 2 night jobs. One was I did background work for a movie, and the movie takes place all in it was called Plus One.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that's when me and you actually started to get close.
Yeah, we were like started talking around then. Yeah, I was just not sleeping at all.
You weren't sleeping and I was up.
This is summer. I was just up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the movie takes place at a house party, and that's basically the whole movie is this house party. So they used the same background actors because they weren't switching scenes. There was the same location. So of course it's going to have the same people in it. So I worked that for like a month or 2. I think it was 2 months. And since it was a house party, that involved nighttime, so we worked at night. And then my other job before I moved here to California, I started off as a night worker. Eventually work slowed down, so they moved us over to the morning shift because they didn't have the funds to have a morning and night shift. But I love the night shift because me and my friends, what we would do is after we got off work, we would go to the gym, have breakfast together, then we'd go home and sleep. I slept so much better during the day. I don't know why. We would get up and go to like the bowling alley or something like that before work and then go to work. So I was getting like probably maybe like the same amount of sleep, but I was doing so much more because when I was off of work, stuff was open.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you get off of work, like if you want to go to the bank or something like that, it might be closing an hour after you get off of work or something like that. You might not make it.
That's another thing is banks. It's like, oh, I gotta run there, but I gotta get off early.
Yeah, and I've always preferred to stay up late anyways. I don't do it anymore because I'm so used to getting up so early now. It's hard for me to stay up.
They've broken you.
A lot of times when I have long weekends, I'll be up really late, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, for sure. Same thing. I'm super lucky right now in that my work gives me flexible hours. And so you should be working between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Not straight, but you work 8 hours a day. And as long as you have 40 hours a week, you're generally good to go. And so if I have to leave a little early one day and stay a little late the next day, I can. Or maybe I shouldn't, but I haven't been yelled at yet. That's nice. It's very nice. If you're listening, my boss, thank you very much for this work schedule.
So speaking of work schedule, so right now my work, we have to do 8-hour days.
Mm-hmm.
The government employees that I work with, they do, 980 hours or whatever it's called?
980. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
It's a work schedule.
Yeah, so they get 1 day off every other week.
Yeah, you work 9 hours every day, and then that gives you an extra hour, enough that you can take the other day off. Because the way the math works out.
Yeah, and then there's the 410, where you work 4 days for 10 hours for 4 days.
We're not authorized to do that. They say that your productivity starts to slip around 10 hours. Like, just on average, like, people just can't do it. So anything more than 10 hours is usually frowned upon. Because you might be a superstar, but there's a good chance science says you're not really a superstar after 9 hours.
Shh. Because we're gonna be talking to our company. We're gonna try to get the options to choose between the 8-hour days, the 9-hour days, the 10-hour days. And I want to do the 10-hour days, which I'm used to doing anyways, because when we have overtime, I do 10-hour days anyways, for 2 hours of overtime.
It's really good for like a place where travel is a big thing, because it's only 4 days you have to ride the bus now a week, which is way better than 5 days you have to ride the bus. So if you can get those out, for sure.
And it puts me, like, I'm already getting there at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, because you got all that travel time as well.
Yeah, so for me to just stay for 2 more hours, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm getting off at normally at 2:30. So I just stay until 4:30. It's not that big of a deal. You get another 15-minute, break. Just do that, around 2:30. Just get back into the mindset.
Now, I'm the type that I would rather just work the least amount of hours in one day. If I can get there and work for 4 hours every day and not have weekends, I will. That math doesn't add up, but it'd be like 6 hours. But I'm more likely to do that than to bulk them out. Although I have bulked them out before, and if I have to work 12 hours or something, I will. But I do not want to make that my regular.
See, I absolutely hate working in downtown. So the less amount of time I have to be there, well, not amount of time, but the less amount of days I have to be there, I'd be happy. Because, I don't have to ride the bus, deal with people, overcrowded buses, deal with crazy people on the way back, deal with crazy people walking to the bus.
Yeah.
And there was actually I don't know if I told you this, one of my coworkers was telling me about how she saw in the news that one lady got off of work, was leaving her building, and a homeless person threw a bucket full of poop on her.
Wow. Homeless people, why are y'all like that?
That's why.
We just lost some of our homeless population just listening on their podcast. No, I don't think it's that homeless people are crazy. I think it's that crazy people just end up homeless.
Yeah. And, see, our biggest issue is there's a lot of, I don't know if anything's really truly confirmed, but there's a lot of rumors that other, states send over their homeless people here.
I've heard that. You just bust them out.
And so our homeless population is crazy. And it's just too much. And downtown is the worst, and I just don't want to work down there. And so if I only have to go 4 days instead of 5 days, I'm perfectly fine with that, whether I have to work more hours or not.
Isn't pepper spray, illegal for you to carry?
I don't know. My mom wants me to carry pepper spray or a taser.
I think everyone
haven't done that yet.
Just carry pepper spray.
Yeah.
I have a good friend of mine had a pepper spray somebody like this week.
Oh.
Not even joking.
Was it you?
It wasn't me. Anyway, stay safe out there.
Yeah.
She was okay. Everything's okay. But I hope that guy's had his eyeballs sizzled. I didn't ask details, but that was pretty cool in my book. Anyway, moving on.
We used to, when we would walk across campus or whatever, we always make sure we held our keys in between our fingers.
I've heard of that. Moving on to a lighter topic. How do you like to start out your day at work? You get to work, you get in there, you sit down at your desk. What do?
So, I basically have a computer job. My whole work is computer job.
Same.
So what I like to do in the morning is I get there so early. I get there before a lot of people get there. So what I like to do is go ahead and get everything that I need to get done that involves me not at my computer. So that way people aren't in the way or whatever. So I go up to the different floors and pick up the documents. I go get my breakfast, of course, like I warm it up or whatever. Because my work doesn't let us have a break room. Well, it does not necessarily doesn't let us, it doesn't have a break room on my floor.
I gotcha.
So whenever we want to have like something from the refrigerator or something from the water fountain or whatever, we have to go to the different floors. And so since I'm already going upstairs to pick up the documents, I go ahead and bring, if I want to put something in the toaster or something like that.
Could you get a little mini fridge in your area? On your floor?
I'm working on that. Shh.
Okay.
We're not technically allowed to have a mini fridge, apparently, but I'm going to just go buy one myself. Whatever.
I think they do take a lot
and
of
hide
energy. I don't think you could have a personal one, but if you had like one for the floor, that would save a lot of time. Just be like, hey, you know how much time we're losing walking all the way up here? We're powering your elevator. Just power mini fridge. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're just going to get one and kind of hide it. So.
Yeah. Well, they might be listening. You have to edit that out.
No. I'll edit it out.
We're just gonna.
Let's see.
And we're just gonna.
And boom.
She'll have to edit that out. That can't have been pleasant to listen to.
So that's what my morning usually consists of, is doing all that stuff. What about you?
Usually I get in, I turn on my computer because I turn it off at night to save energy. I turn on my two lights. Hey, it's your tax dollars. I turn
what do you
on
mean? That's your company's.
We're government contractors.
Oh, okay then.
I turn on my my lights and I let my computer boot up. And usually while I'm doing that, I'll either grab my cup then and go straight to the break room to get my tea or coffee if I'm feeling coffee. But recently I've been on tea, and heat up my breakfast sandwich if I got one. And then I'll talk with my friend for a little bit, but not too long. And then I'll get my basically just get my sandwich in me. By that time my computer's come up and I've logged in and all my apps have loaded because the computer could be a little faster. It's not like the beast of a machine we're recording on right now. Good job, Little.
My computer could be a little bit faster as well.
Yeah.
Computer, government, lovely.
Yeah. Anyway, don't you know you're going to learn patience if you get a government office job?
Oh, yeah.
But it's fine because you're on the clock. Anyway, usually by then all my stuff's open and I can check my email. I start my day with my email. And I set my calendar when I walked in so I know I'm always tracking. I'm pretty good about we don't have to we do have to track accurately. We sign with our name, but nobody's like checking our badges. So I always use that. As soon as I walk in, I'm marking the time. I put it on there. You can also go back in time and like see like, oh, I was working. You can see a little graph of when I was coming in late or whatever. Don't you know, be accountable. Make sure you're not lying about your hours. Yeah, then I usually start my first task of the day, whatever that may be, depending on the emails or whatever's on my to-do list.
Don't you know, don't slack off, where others are going to have to do your workload.
Oh, I see. You sound like yours is coming more from the perspective of the person who has to do all your workload.
Ha ha ha. I am. But anyways, let's see. I mean, we had one lady who's no longer working at our company, which is great. She retired, but
is that the old lady that you always complain to me about, like all the time?
Yeah.
I remember her.
Yeah.
I don't know her name, but I know her legacy.
Yeah, she was falling asleep at work.
I remember that.
This is like when I first started too. I first started and she was already like falling asleep and coming in late, and it's like this sets a horrible example for a person who just started.
Yeah. So you should fire your whole staff after every 2 years. They get lazy. What movie is that from? I wasn't being serious. It's probably really good, but
it makes me think about this one thing that someone was talking about, which was this guy was saying about how to make sure you train someone and you put in the effort to train someone. And the other guy was saying, and so this was like, the person that was saying it was talking about how it's a conversation between two people. And the other person was like, oh, well, once if they leave, then that's all that training wasted. And then the guy goes, yeah, but once if they stay, you didn't properly train them. Then they're like, now you have this person that stayed and they're a horrible work ethic and they don't do exactly what you want.
Minimum viable product. If they're working, if the company stayed afloat for that long, then they're doing all right, aren't they? I remember who said it, by the way. It was Bulldog from Frasier, of course, about firing every 2 years.
What, about what I just said?
No, what I said earlier about firing all your staff every 2 years. I said I couldn't remember where I heard it, but it was Bulldog. This sticks. This is total BS.
So, here's another don't you know, which is, don't you know, if you don't like someone, then just don't, become, their best friend or whatever, but don't purposely, make it your mission to go nitpick everything that they do and try to get them fired.
Yeah, because that's very unprofessional. You still got, ideally, whether you personally get along with them or not, you're both on here to make your job successful, right? If you're not, then you're in the wrong job. Find somewhere else. If you don't care about your job, get out of the job.
Yeah. It's different if, say, the reason why you don't like the person is because they're not working, so you're having to keep up with their, you're having to do their workload. But if you just don't like them personally, maybe something happened, you guys just don't get along anymore, don't make it your personal mission to go get them fired, even though they're a perfectly fine worker.
Yeah. Instead, I was thinking, not that, you shouldn't do this maliciously, but I think it's always, if I've got somebody I don't like, I'm going to, it's almost a game to, make them like me, or to, constantly, help them out or whatever. Just out of, friendly spite. That is, the most, second degree passive aggressive you could ever be. I'm only helping you so you'll feel obligated to like me, and I know that you were a prick to me. And now you know you were wrong. I don't know. I don't really know.
So this kind of goes into my article. So let's go ahead and it's called Handling Oddball Coworkers.
Oh.
By Neil Parmer?
Neil Parmer.
So this talks about, how personal conflicts is very, very common in office. And so this talks about how this is probably because 5 to 10% of workers suffer from a personality disorder. This is from Psychology Today, by the way.
Probably. I think everybody's everything on a gradient.
Yeah. So it talks about the 4 most common types of personality disorders. Avoidant. So they like to obviously like to be by themselves, all that stuff. And so it also talks about how you address, handling these people. So with avoidant, they hide in their cubes, they dread rejections, such as things. And so it says, one way to keep your cool with them is to help them come out of their shell. So, try to see a situation from their perspective. The next type is dependent. So, they cry at criticisms, they need help too much. So, how to handle that is to don't baby them, boost their self-confidence when assigning independent projects. The next type is compulsive. So, they obsess over details. They're never satisfied.
This is the nitpicker.
Yeah. I'm super, super summarizing this. So if you want to get more details, go ahead and just click on the link. And I'm not reading the title of each one. I'm just reading what the personality type is.
Yeah. I just thought this one was funny.
Oh, okay. And never satisfied. So the way to handle them is try laughing. So don't let them get under your skin. Just be thankful that you're not a perfectionist.
That's exactly how you handle those types of people.
Are you trying to say that from experience against me, Jacob?
Not against you, but you kind of outed yourself.
I can fall into this, not to too extremes, because the way I am at work, I can be very picky over details, but if it ain't my work, then whatever, I'm gonna just be nitpicky over my stuff. So the last top, and so these aren't all of them, these are just the 4 top common ones. So the 4th one is narcissistic. carries pocket mirrors, bosses you around, that's such. So, the way to deal with them is to respect orders, but stand your ground, don't be a pushover, basically.
Yeah. Because they're not gonna make themselves look wrong, particularly, because they're probably caring about their personal image too. So if you can stick within the rules and beat them at their own game, you're gonna get them. And they're so caught up in themselves, they're probably really easy to get. So as long as they're not in some sort of if they're in a position of power, it's really tough to get on them like that. But if you get somebody who's like a coworker who thinks they're like the bee's knees, you just stick to your guns, make sure your nose is clean, and you will beat them every time because they can't see the big picture.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the problems with the one lady I was telling you about. She kind of felt like since she was there the longest, which wasn't even there for that much longer than the rest of us.
What's her business card say? What's her title say?
She was the same. She got paid the same as us. She was the same level as the rest of us.
Then you stick to your guns, you stick to the book, and she has no power.
She didn't. She actually didn't. And eventually the company kind of pushing for her to just retire. They're like, when are you retiring again? When are you going to retire again? Well, then we need you to show us documents of this stuff if it's going to be that long before you retire.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was claiming all these medical conditions that we don't think she actually had.
I see.
So, but for you to claim them, you have to have proof that you have them.
Yeah.
And so they were starting to push for that kind of stuff. And they're like, or you could just kind of retire and then what's the point of us having for that stuff if you're just going to retire?
You get a part-time job, get your retirement income too. You go sleep on their desk. Boom roasted. Speaking of office. Anyway.
Okay, let's do the next article since we're just get both the articles down.
Yeah.
And done with. So this one is, I think this is a very big topic with Office. The title of this article is Dodging the Office Plague by Catherine Shu.
Catherine Shu.
It's Psychology Today as well. I think getting sick at the office is really big.
Yeah, I actually just got an email about flu shots and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go get a shot. But I was sick with the flu twice last year and I'm probably going to go get a free flu shot in the office lobby. It's free and I just don't get them.
Yeah, ours is free too. And I don't ever get them. I actually got the flu last year, and I thought it was just a cold.
I got it twice.
I didn't even realize I had the flu.
I got it so hard.
But it lasted so long.
Have you ever been so sick that you literally write a note just in case you die during the night? You can be like, hey guys, it was fun. I literally did that. And I woke up the next morning and I felt really stupid for having done it. I was just on NyQuil or whatever, but it was pretty funny. I was like,
do you have the notes still?
No, I threw it away. It was just...
Oh, I was going to say, let's know what it said.
It wasn't very deep. It was just like, I hope I live through the night or something like that. If not, it was a good run. Just something like that. I was pretty sure I was fine. I was just being a big baby. But...
Well, you heard about the man cold.
Oh, yeah. That's basically it in a nutshell. Literally thought he might die. I mean, hey, stuff happens, you know. I was living on microwavable burritos that weekend, so it could have happened. Anyway.
Mine was more along the lines of, I'm gonna have to go to the doctors because the cold's just not going away. I can't miss any more work.
I got it twice.
I need antibiotics.
Apparently there were 2 strains going around, and so they were saying a lot of people were like, oh, why do I even get the flu shot? It didn't work. And they're like, no, there were 2 strains. I caught both of them.
That's why I don't get the flu shot, because...
But I only would have got one of them.
But see, here's the thing. Sometimes if you get the flu shot, it's not even the right strain. They just make a guess I'm pretty sure it's educated, but... Once if that flu shot wasn't even for, because you're saying I would have only got one of them.
You're saying I get the flu shot for flu shot A, and I actually got B and C.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. You don't really know.
Yeah. So I'll just get the flu. It'll be okay.
I probably will too, because I just do not like needles.
I hate needles. I don't mind giving blood. I give blood, no problem. But as soon as it's a vaccine or something that goes in, it's I don't like that feeling. Ew, don't put something in me.
I think it's easier for me to take an injection than for me to give blood, though. I feel like that's
no.
I can feel my life blood draining out, you know? And I'm a little guy. It's a lot of blood. What
I do is I just I make sure I eat tons and tons of stuff with iron, and I drink so much water that I'm having to pee every 10 minutes. And then when you give blood, especially if you're really, really hydrated, the blood just You're there for like 15 minutes, you're done.
All right, well, I was feeling dizzy before you did the visual, so thanks for that one. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I volunteered for a couple of blood drives, and you wouldn't believe, and they were for the high school, you wouldn't believe how many people would go in there thinking that they're not supposed to eat before they give blood.
Oh, wow.
And we're like, most of the time they get rejected because their iron level's too low. But some of them go through, and they end up, like, passing out because they didn't eat before they gave blood.
No, I would always eat. It's strictly in my head. It doesn't even hurt. If I look away, I won't even know it goes in. Like, I've tried looking at it. I've tried looking at it, looking away from it. I just don't like it.
Okay, so for this article.
Yeah, please.
It talks about the importance of workers having sick time and how employers should be willing to give sick time to employees. Because, well, it's mandatory to have a sick time. But this is saying, like, your employees should have plenty of sick time because you don't want your workers to come in sick. It says that it costs companies about 20% more to have an employee come into work sick versus the employee just being taken off. And it says that doesn't even include the cost of sick time for coworkers when they become infected. So bottom line is employers shouldn't be stingy on the sick time when it comes to employees. Of course, you'll have people who take advantage of that, so that sucks. But
yeah,
I guess the question is,
people will take advantage of it.
And it's like your workers aren't gonna come in, like, if they're doing, so my one guy I was talking to, who works at the government, he was saying, I don't think for them, but he did say he had a job. What they did was, if you were sick, they did incurrences instead of like you had this many hours or whatever.
Oh, I see.
So if you had 3 days that you were sick and you got a doctor's note, instead of it being 3 occurrences, it'd be just 1 occurrence.
Oh, I see.
So it's best to always take 3 days off and then get a doctor's note.
I hate the doctor's note thing because it is more work. Like, oh my gosh, like that flu time when I was like...
Man, you have to schedule it and then you're like... And it's hard sometimes to schedule to go in,
and you feel like crap, and you gotta go sit in there, and you're like vomiting or whatever. I wasn't vomiting on the flu, but like that's the worst. Like, look, I'm sick. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Please don't make me go get a doctor's note because I go to the doctor once every 2 or 3 years. That's not true. I try to go once a year, but I try to go once a year. Please don't make me go when I just would rather die. Like.
I think it should maybe not be 3 days, maybe like the 4th or 5th day.
I do like that system, though. I think that is a good system.
Yeah.
You know what's the hardest place to call out of sick? Restaurants. Now, maybe this depends on the restaurants, and I've just hit a couple, but it's so tough because usually restaurants are fairly short. Well, I guess it depends anywhere. You want people coming in for your shifts, and it's hard to change up shifts and call people in, and that's got to be really stressful as a manager. But when I'm sick... Please don't make me go serve food to people, to the public. That is, like, terrible.
It might be different now, or maybe you just don't know it, but I was at work. Someone was saying that if you call in sick, if you say you're sick, it's illegal for a company to not allow you to take that sick time. And so it might be different now from when you were working, just because it's mandatory for, at least especially for California, it's mandatory for employers to give employees at least 24 hours of sick time.
I see.
It's mandatory. And so if you are sick, it's illegal for a company to say you can't use your sick time and you have to come in.
Yeah, no, that's good because, and that's another tough thing though, is that like, everyone's getting sick around the same time. So if you have 4 people calling in sick and you're like, we have 1 server all night, that's terrible. That's so tough.
Yeah, and what's the thing is though, is that if you have just 1 person who comes in sick, they're getting everyone sick. Bottom line, and you're going to end up with no one anyways.
They're going to spread it around the restaurant because you wouldn't have 4 people sick if everyone who was sick was staying at home. Because you know who doesn't want a taco? Sick people. There's no customers coming in sick ordering tacos and stuff. It's not happening. They're sitting at home. So the only reason they're getting sick is because servers are coming in and infecting the other servers. Maybe people are sick and they're like, oh, the only thing I want is some tacos.
So, the weird thing is, not weird thing. Okay, with me, I come into work sick.
You do.
I know people aren't happy about that, but you come into work sick.
Sometimes
because,
I do too. If I get a deadline, I
like,
will.
not with the flu,
Not with the flu.
like a head cold. Because,
I'll quarantine myself, though.
yeah, because we only have so many sick days and PTO. And sometimes we're using since we don't have a lot of PTO, sometimes we're calling in sick to use the sick time. So sometimes we just don't have it.
Yeah.
And so what can you do?
Yeah.
So the days that you do get sick, sometimes you don't have the PTO to take multiple days. So you come in anyways until it's like absolutely like you think you're going to die.
Yeah. And for those days, I would say, don't you know, wash your hands a lot. Keep some hand sanitizer with you. Wear a mask if you have to. If you're coughing and sneezing a lot, wear a little mask.
And write a note.
Yeah. Hey, you wear a mask. No one's going to bother you all day. You're going to have a very relaxing day.
No, and write a note.
And write a note. What are you talking about?
Because you think you're going to die.
Oh. Yeah. I see. No, I'm talking about if you have to come to work sick.
Okay, so this actually does not so much talks about if you come into work sick, but so much is to try to keep yourself from getting sick. So don't assume your office is germ-free. Viruses can live up to 3 days on phones, water coolers, levers, and elevator buttons. I did not know that. Now I'm going to be like super germophobic. Keep your desk organized. Yeah, especially if you eat there. Wash your hands. Duh. Carry tissues. And get enough sleep. Stress can cause your immune system to weaken. A study found flu shots given to sleep-deprived volunteers may take weeks to kick in, leaving the person vulnerable to infections in the meantime.
Wow.
So when you get your flu shot, make sure you're well rested, Jacob.
Wow.
And practice good hygiene. People with a cold or flu virus become contagious a day before they begin to show symptom and remain contagious until symptoms disappear. Don't wait until one of your colleagues comes to work with a cough to keep your hands and office clean.
Yeah.
And that is it for that article.
Yep. That's good. And don't infect the coffee pot.
So now we're kind of been talking about, office, going to a place and going to work, all that stuff. But that doesn't include people who work from home.
That's because that's not working.
You don't consider that working?
I'm just teasing. No, I mean, that's such a wide thing. We can't talk about everything. I'm thinking at work.
Yeah.
You're on your own.
So, I mean, I'm kind of more along the lines of, the reason why I brought that up was because I feel like we should mention it, but also, I feel like that's kind of like everyone's dream, is to work from home. How do you feel about that? Would you want to work from home?
I would disagree. I don't think that's everyone's dream. I think that's a crazy generalization.
I think that's the dream, like, when you're younger, though. Maybe not so much when you get older, because then you're like, you want to go out and do things.
Yeah, many people want to get out of the house and like working away from home. And like, if you got kids and stuff, oh my goodness, I can't imagine working home if I had kids.
But that's what I'm saying when you were younger. Like, when I was younger, I wanted to work from home, because I didn't want to have to get up super early. I wanted to just be in my pajamas and just do whatever work and then be done.
That's called being lazy.
And that's what my brother wanted to do, and that's what my other brother wants to do. But now that I'm older, I'm kind of like, no, if I worked from home, then I would get so distracted by everything at home, and I wouldn't have a schedule, and I'd just be so disorganized, and I would never leave the house.
And that's a real pitfall that I'm sure a lot of people fall into. I've heard that good ways to combat that are to get a designated space that you work at. Don't work from home in bed in PJs. Get up, change, go to work, quote, 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 in air.
Mm-hmm.
Go into a study, have a designated desk with a work computer if you can afford it or whatever. Or bring your laptop over there or something. And I imagine if you're working on like a laptop, make a separate account for your personal and for your work. So you just log in as work when you mean work, and it'll help you delineate between when you're working and when you're not. And like set timers and stuff and things like that. I feel like I would really have to recreate a work environment at home. I don't think I could work from my gaming desk in my VR room. I would not be as productive as I could be at work. But that's me. And I know me very well. And yeah.
Okay, I have a question, and it's been kind of bothering me. Are you wearing yellow pants?
Yes.
I don't know, just like the combination of your yellow pants and your Hawaiian Santa shirt.
It's laundry day, and I'm kind of messing with you with this shirt as well. And the pants, it's like, oh, Raquel will like these. Yeah, they're huge. They're like parachute pants. I was
going to say, they look like
I made them for
a
SCA.
skirt.
Yeah, they do kind of, but they're pants.
You have to lift the leg up for me to see the two separate leggings.
Usually you wrap them like this, and then they're like the big poofy, billowy pants, and then you tuck them into boots. But when I'm not like this, they're just like big yogi pants. They're really comfortable.
What you can do, Jacob, is tuck them into shoes and stick all your candy and stuff in there when you go to the movie theater.
Yeah, perfect. That won't be suspicious at all.
What? It makes me think about this one, comedian, and he's missing a leg. And he said when he goes into the movie theater, what he does is he wears the regular pants, and he ties the bottom of the pants that doesn't have a leg, and he puts like a bottle of like a 2-liter in there. And so it's like swinging all about because it's like, it's not part of his leg, it's just swinging all about.
Nobody's gonna stop him.
Yeah, it's swinging all about. He's all like, so I go into the movie theater and it's just, and I go up to the person, and the person's like looking at me and looks down at my leg and is like, I think there's something wrong with your leg. Yeah, it's not there.
How insensitive. I'm triggered. See, I would go for I'd be going for a submarine sandwich for sure. If I had a missing leg, I'd be smuggling in a sandwich. Cold cut all the way.
It kind of makes me think of, also, remember the Good Boys trailer I sent you? Where, with the little kids in their middle school or whatever?
Vaguely.
And they're going into middle school, and it's kind of like Seth Rogen kind of type movie. And there's a scene in the trailer. I haven't seen the movie yet. I do want to see it.
I vaguely remember.
Yeah, there's a scene in the trailer where they go into a liquor store and they're like trying to sneak liquor so that they go to this house party.
Uh-huh.
And one of them has it like down the pants, and the guy goes, I think there's something wrong with your pants. And the guy goes, I've had this since I was a baby. And he's like, it's just so normally sized.
I would still have my submarine sandwich in the pant leg. Goodness.
Okay, so...
What about, do you prefer getting paid, working food service, you get paid every day. You take home tips, and then you get your paycheck every other week. That wasn't where I was
going.
Oh. I was just saying, do you like that better than getting paid every weekly or bi-weekly?
Oh, okay, so it was kind of going where I was thinking. Right now, I get paid weekly. Before, I used to get paid, I don't know what I was trying to paid. Every once in a while, I guess some unknown accent comes out. The other day, I was with my aunt, and we were...
check.
Yeah, the other day we were putting stuff from Five and Below in there. Not Five and Below. Home Depot. No, not Home Depot. What is it? Big Lots.
Big Lots.
We were putting stuff into the trunk, and I was putting it in the laundry basket. I was like, laundry basket? Or, I don't know. It was so. I said it so weird. It was like laundry basket. I don't know.
You're missing Georgia.
I don't... It wasn't even really a southern accent or anything. It was like an unknown type accent. So sometimes that comes out when I try to say stuff. Just random,
It's crazy talk.
Anyways, so I used to get paid bi-weekly. I don't know. I like getting paid weekly. It's nice. But when you got paid bi-weekly, you got, bigger paychecks. And it's so much easier to spend your money quickly when you get paid weekly than when you get paid bi-weekly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because, one thing that sucks is when you get paid weekly, you have to definitely know how to budget your money. Because if you're getting paid, a small amount, even though all your bills are paid for that week, your bills for next week might be bigger than your paycheck.
Yeah,
so you have to be able to save the money over.
That happens for me working bi-weekly as well, is that there's sometimes when you're if you got bills around the 15th or 16th or somewhere these weird spots where they jump around, sometimes you can get 3 of your 4 bills on one paycheck, and it's not 50-50 like you're used to or whatever. So you have to be pretty careful about that. The good thing is that sometimes, those months where there's 5 Fridays in a month? Those are the best. Those are the best. Because sometimes you get three paychecks, and you only get one set of bills. And those are the best. Now, I'm sure it's balanced out, though.
You get them twice a year. There's 2 months in the year that happens.
That's a pretty good feeling.
Now, when you get paid weekly, I know, I did it again. I don't know. Someone else is trying to come out my body. When you get paid weekly, you don't notice those 5th weeks, really.
Yeah, because you're used to it. You just notice a lack of bills.
Yeah. So sometimes, and then that money is spread out through that month, so you don't even notice that extra. Whereas you're paid bi-weekly, it's boom, this big chunk of money. You're whoa, I paid all my bills and I have all this money? What?
Right. Don't you know it's good to have money? No. Sorry. If you're listening, that sounded really conceited. Don't you know your first paycheck, this all depends on if you your finances and stuff. Don't break the bank. But I always say that if you can, don't you know your first paycheck, you should splurge it. if you're like getting your first job, like you're in high school or something, and you get a job at a pizza place and you like make like $50, spend that $50. Enjoy it. It feels good. Reward yourself. You've worked hard. And then the next one can go for like bills or like important savings and stuff or whatever you need.
Yeah. Unless your first job is like your first like adult job.
Yeah, and you need to pay rent. Yeah, you obviously got to pay your bills. But maybe like if you're thinking like, oh, I got like an extra $20. Should I just save it? Now your situation may vary, but I say first paycheck, reward yourself, treat yourself. You got that job, you got paid, you brought home the bread. Live large.
The slice of bread if you're only getting paid $50.
Well, then you better get the good kind.
Okay, how do you feel about music at work? I have a problem with music at work if it's, like, music I don't like.
Yeah.
Like, my old job, they used to play country a lot. And actually, one guy who was there with me, he liked country, and even he got sick of the constant same country music playing. So he would always change the radio station, and then the one guy who didn't even own the radio station would come back and change it back to country. And even the guy who owned the radio station would change it off the country because he would get tired of it. And then the other guy would still come over and change it.
Was it like listening to the radio?
It was like listen to the radio, yeah.
But you do. You get an FM broadcaster. It's like a little device. You plug it into a wall and it'll broadcast the radio waves, and it's closer, so it'll pick up your radio station and he won't be able to get his country. Or just put real static or whatever.
Oh, dang.
So you'll block out his country.
Oh, I wish I known how to do that. Dang, it's too late now. But what's funny though is because this job
good to have
towards
nerd friends. Those things are like $15.
Towards the end of the time that I was there, because that was the job I had before I moved to California. We didn't really have that much work, so we were sitting around a lot of time. And so sometimes he would be falling asleep. And then he would wake up and go turn it back to country. Like, almost like he would wake up as soon as we changed it off of country. It's like, what the heck?
He was sleeping, dreaming about his truck and his sister uncle and his... Sorry. And we've lost our country fan base.
We lost those a long time ago for our music.
Yeah, right.
And then my work now, I really... Like, there's certain types of music I don't... Like I said, like, if it's type of music I don't like, then I don't want to hear it, period. And I think it's just better for people to have headphones in.
Yeah.
Just because not everyone has the same type of music. Especially, like, I like dubstep and rock and, like, all this stuff that, like, probably most people don't like.
Yeah, it'll turn them off of it. I think in an office setting, for sure, headphones, because you're not going to play office stuff over the speakers, because that doesn't make sense. However, at a place like a restaurant or work in retail, you're going to hear that playlist a lot, for sure. And for me, it's the Christmas songs. Man, working food service during Christmas time, it gets jingle belled out.
And another big thing I have, too, is when you do have your headphones in, it shouldn't be blasting through your headphones, because there's no difference than if you're just playing it out loud to begin with.
Oh, man, I made that mistake. And I had these headphones on, and I had my music cranked up. I was going at it. And finally, someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, can you turn your screamo down?" And I was like, "No!" And I looked around, and everyone was looking at me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed. I was into it, too. I was just I was typing along. It's kind of funny.
Like, I shouldn't be able to hear your music over my music.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I was out of line.
Yeah, especially if I have my headphones in, like, inside my ears. Like, I should not be able to hear your music, period.
Yeah.
And you're not sitting, like, right next to me either, where we're touching shoulders.
Yeah.
I shouldn't hear it.
Yeah, for sure. Get better headphones if you want it that loud.
So, I mean, if you take your headphones out of your ear or whatever, and you can hear it when you take it off, it's too loud, period, because that damages your ear anyways.
Well, it depends on how they're designed. Some will vent out the sound to get a fuller thing, but...
Okay, and so my last thing is office decorations. I don't know, I feel like that's a big topic, and I feel like it should be mentioned.
I think that you should definitely decorate your office. At least throw something up to personalize the space. If you've got an office, personalize it, because that's where you're working. You gotta stay fresh, you know? For
the first, 2 years, maybe 3 years, close to 3 years at least, I did not decorate my office space at all. I only now just put up Funko Pops and stuff like that.
Nice.
I just didn't want to leave anything at the office because it's like an open kind of space.
Yeah.
And security guard comes through and stuff like that. And it just wasn't, I was afraid something would get broken or taken or whatever. And I trust my personal coworkers, and I trust most of the government workers.
But it didn't feel
But they
secure.
weren't the only. Yeah, but they weren't the only ones that had access to that area.
Yeah, I wouldn't really want to leave valuables in my office, but I put up like paintings and stuff. Not paintings, it's like maps. I like maps.
Yeah, so I have some of my Funko Pops that aren't expensive. I have them there. And I have Funko Pops that have been given to me that aren't expensive, but they were given to me by like coworkers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I keep them there.
Around there. That's nice.
Yeah, because I do have limited space in my room.
Mm-hmm.
So unless the pop has more like sentimental value, if it's not worth much, it doesn't get displayed.
Yeah.
So the pops that they brought me, like, I give them A for, getting me pops because they know I like them. But they aren't necessarily of things that I like. They wouldn't have sentimental value.
Yeah.
But since they are given to my coworkers, I do want to display them. And I don't really have the room in my room. So I, of course, display them at my work.
I've heard that before, that if somebody's into a hobby, usually it's a bad idea to get them something from that hobby. And that's kind of counterintuitive, but it's like, if somebody's like into fishing, don't buy them a fishing pole. Because you probably don't know what type of fish they're fishing for, you don't know how strong it is, you don't know, unless you do a lot of research, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's better to get gift cards.
Yeah, gift cards are very good for stuff like that. Say, look, I know you like fishing, but you probably know more than I ever will about it. Here's a fish thing to whatever fishing place you like. You'll use it way better than I could. That still says a lot. Or get like a decoration about it, I guess would be good. But don't get them something for the hobby.
For my birthday, I think it was my birthday, my coworkers got me a GameStop gift card and a Hot Topic gift card, which is perfect because that's where the pops are at. So instead of just getting me pops, they just got me those gift cards for those areas, so I was able to just go ahead and get whatever.
I always think of those stories where it's like, this launches me back to, you hear about like people where, like, oh yeah, my dad got me the new Red Dead Redemption or whatever game is out. It's like, it's really good. It's my favorite game. I've been wanting it. I just wish it was for my Xbox and not a PlayStation. Stuff like that. It's like, oh, they tried so hard. He got the game he wanted.
So, yeah, I think it is important to accessorize. I think it gets to the point also where it can be too much as well.
Yeah, if you're going overboard, don't get cluttered. And keep your office space clean, Get too crazy with it.
Yeah.
Don't get out of touch.
Keep your office space clean, period, because especially if it's like an open space one and your office is basically connected to my office, if you're not clean and you got food and blah, 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 it can attract bugs, which therefore means my office has bugs too.
Yeah, food for sure. I think that's like a health violation. But I'm just talking like paper clutter and stuff. If you're done with like a task or something, put that stuff in a drawer somewhere. You don't have to throw it away, but like, because I'm talking to myself as well. Because I was done with the project for like 4 months before I finally realized I don't actually need any of these papers on this drawer anymore. So I put them in a drawer and I closed it. Man, the space feels so much nicer. So good.
And it almost like when you clean off your desk, it almost like declutters your mind too, feels like.
It does. Less to look at, less to process.
Okay, well, that's all I have.
Big one, don't you know? I don't. Nope, I don't, don't you know? Work hard. Do good work.
I feel like
be your own
I usually
supervisor.
always end them.
Don't micromanage other people either.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Please follow us. Send us a tweet at don'tyouknowpod or send us an email at don'tyouknowpod@gmail.com. Link in the description. Link to the articles are going to be in the description. Don't forget to share. Oh, I said forget. Oh, I'm so bad at this.
We need prompts. Like, what is your favorite workplace habit that you have? What kind of a question is that? What's something a coworker does that bugs you? You can vent to us. We would love to read about your problems.
Yeah. And make sure you check out our next week's episode because we're going to have something special for you guys.
That's true. Cool.
Okay, then. Until next time, guys. See ya.
See ya.